G'day mate, welcome back to Satisfactory with me, Jetty, and well, some things have happened, some stuff has changed. I had time, so because I had time, I went and did like just small little minor things like setting up the whole steel floor completely, along with a bit of decoration, putting in some walls, that sort of stuff, just minor little things. Anyway, what I want to do this episode is I want to take you guys through what I've done, what I've still got to do, and what's coming up. So first things first, let's actually run into the hub and get some research done, because I've been putting off doing a lot of research. I did get the next 2 levels of steel unlocked like I said I would. So tier 4, we have advanced steel production and logistics mark 3. But I want to just start with just getting some of the old research done. So let's get some jump pads done. Throw those in there until it goes away and send our lovely rocket ship off. I don't have the eye in the sky.
Several buildings aimed at factory traversal can now be accessed in the build menu. Caution is recommended during use of these products.
Bye. I don't have the eye in the sky with me today because frankly I couldn't be bothered setting it up. It's actually really difficult to get the second player in and get them set up and situated and all that sort of stuff. So let's start with the belt in the room. So the belt in the room is wandering across and it's actually going over to our crusher. Now I have this portable crusher here that I've dumped down for my personal use. And basically it was there just so I could clear out stuff I don't need. So like I find random coal in my inventory, boom, goes away, gets destroyed, I don't have to worry about it. On top of that, I have this belt that's coming across the map that is starting to recycle a lot of the things from the old base. I want to, before I do anything else, look at that one, which is... Can I do that? I can. I want to have the materials on me so when it comes back we can just launch it. 400 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. And cable. Okay. So yeah, it's just bringing across materials from the old base and basically scrapping them. It is giving us some amount of coupons. We've got 15. It's like 300,000 points to the next level, and it's going to keep getting more expensive as time continues. No, please don't do that, game. And take the nuts out of my hand. Excellent. Okay, so it's going to keep going, getting more expensive as we print off new tickets. As for our main entrance, our main storage, as you can see, I've hooked up a few more levels and I managed to get this to work. The way I managed to get this to work was actually really funny. I had to bring this out like so, and then remove the conveyor pole. No, conveyor pole stays. Hang on. Let's try that again. Conveyor pole stays, belt goes away, and that lets me put out the walkway crossings, at which point I can hook the belt back up to the imaginary floor. So I managed to get that to work, which was something. You don't have an imaginary one, do you? No. Pull that out, get rid of that, put these back. That was definitely the wrong location. And I'm sort of paving out the glass as I go. Now I've reached sort of, this point in my grand storage scheme. I actually can't access these boxes from above, so I have a limited number of boxes to go until they're all full. As you can see, this side has remained mainly copper. So I have my copper. I want to say plate. Is it copper plate? Copper sheets. Copper sheets, we have wire, we have cable, we have concrete, we have a grand total of nothing. This side we've continued with iron, and copper, steel, and steel, and I have a spare one currently, which is still not hooked up correct. Yeah, that one actually doesn't go anywhere. So, that's how we are in Storage City. Now, each one of these has a loader bringing down from above to below, so we can see that the top storage container is absolutely full as well, which means I have lots of materials. Now, I do want to, if we can just jump up on top carefully, I do want to fill in this gap. I don't know how I want to fill this in. At the same time, I'd really like to put in sort of a roof right above these storage containers that wraps around, covers up something, unsure yet. The conveyor lifts as well. I'd really like to get them done, covered up in some way, shape or form. Although, I'm not particularly complaining about how our ceiling is currently. It doesn't let in some light. I'd obviously like more light. I don't know where getting that done, but yeah, you know, maybe in the next update 4 adds lights for us. We'll see. Meanwhile, let's get this one launched. I'm 10 short. It's because I built something. So let's get us vehicles that I'm not really going to be using, to be honest. Well, not right at the moment. Maybe later. Vehicle transport.
Milestone reached. Long-range transportation, as well as the construction of outposts, is now encouraged. Vehicle stations have built-in functionality to refuel and restock or collect parts.
Have those in my inventory ready to go. Okay, so now we've done a quick little tour down here. I want to talk about what has happened upstairs. So upstairs, we still have our ramp methods because I haven't unlocked the hypertube. That's what I want to actually unlock this episode. We have our smelting. Smelting really hasn't changed. Some of the smelters have, or some of the mines have been upgraded to tier 2. That's really about it. I have started using these double-sided wall mounts to actually run the power cables outside. Because why not? It means most of the power actually runs outside the building, and I just have these links on the inside. We have our glass template, which we built previously, which if I can I not access these from this end? No, I can't. Give me a conveyor pole stackable. Which have been upgraded and built. So this is still the iron level, or iron and copper. So as you can see, I'm using these to move materials through the basic ceiling of the base. They don't give me a lot of room to move materials, but they give me enough room. And I have, well, this one only needs to come to here. That's as far as it's been built. Same with this one. I've left the rest of this level free because I have a feeling we're going to expand things. Like at the moment, we're making copper wire here. Even though we have a belt that moves, how much does a Mark III move? 270 per minute. If I wander back through these machines, no. No, you guys are not getting ingots fast enough. So I need to somehow come over to this side and improve my smelting capability, which is this belt. Yeah, this belt, which is an ore problem, is it? No, ore's backed up. So I just need to add more smelting capability. Oh. No. It's a belt issue. This main line didn't get upgraded. We'll just do that real quick. Okay. Upgrade that. That should make that one run at full speed, hopefully. I've also got this little one that's running our copper something. Or maybe that's the one running... That's the one running copper wire. That's the issue. So yeah, my copper wire, the smelters are not fast enough. I need a larger smelter block, whereas this one is copper plate, which I actually have too many ingots for. So I need to work out some way to load balance my smelting out there, but that's a later jetty problem, and it's still remaining a later jetty problem. I do have our lovely walkway down the middle, which is bringing, I think, enough light, but I'm also worried as the building, the factory gets taller and taller, I'm worried about how much light is or is not going to come in down here. Lastly, we have our conveyor wall system, which is just bringing out all the materials, putting them down a whole bunch of lifts. I don't really like the spaghetti in here, but I haven't invented a better way of doing it yet. I don't like that everything's at different levels. I think maybe the answer is just wall this off and pretend it doesn't exist. That works perfectly fine. We also have our copper materials going down and coming down on this side. It's a loot box. And same story, we're just bringing materials down. This is a temporary ladder I was using to decide where to put things. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for here. And these walls are to get the conveyors from one side to the other. Again, I'm not 100% happy with them. I don't have a better answer. So there's still definitely some cosmetic thoughts to go into the factory. Next level up is where we have steel production. Now, steel production has already been upgraded to Mark II miners wherever possible. And we're bringing in, you know, iron and copper. We're smelting it. There is a whole bunch of room still left on this smelter level, because I do know one of the alternate recipes lets me put in coal and iron ingots, which is way more efficient and effective. So I've left extra room to potentially smelt iron over here and then smelt steel over here before bringing it up. The steel level definitely, well, needs some work on the main corridor because the end of the factory's got a lot bigger. But I have to say, steel is one of those things that I always thought iron would be the biggest. Turns out steel is way larger. So if we come to one of our conveyor lifts, our roof lift systems, we can see we have pipes, we have stators, and that's a hole from access to from above, because it turns out it's way easier to build these things from the inside than it is from the outside. But as you can see, as I wander down, we get pretty close to the end of our platform for our last items to be coming in. So yeah, we're only a couple of tiles away from the end. We've had to, in the case of stators, need to bring in copper cable, and they actually come in from down here, fly up through the floor into the steel level, which now I need to run back up to, so quick cut. So yes, copper cable comes in over here. It's a little bit short of the end of the build, which sort of makes me want to move the whole build over. Now, I have been playing with the Satisfactory calculator.com, and I'm a lot more confident in my blueprinting capabilities now. So this is an experiment I want to leave for basically playing with on the calculator. See whether I can pick up this whole build, move it down, what, 4 tiles, 3 tiles? 1, 2, 3 tiles, basically. Move it over 3 tiles and paste it back down, just to see if it works or not. It'll give me extra room at this end, which I really don't need, but you know, it does mean that my steel pipe factory, which is only 5 assemblers long, which is probably way too short in hindsight, can extend to, I don't know, 8, 10-ish. We have our steel beam production down here, which, again, probably not enough assemblers, considering we do use a lot of steel beams currently in belt production, because that is the best belt we can make. And then finally over here I have concrete production, because up until this point we didn't need mass-made concrete. We were just using it for foundations. We're now also using it, obviously, for reinforced steel beams. So yeah, that's meant that I had to make a concrete factory. I'm like, you know what? The steel factory is a pretty good spot to make it, so why not make it here? As you can see, I've also started running power poles down the outside, down the sides. I don't think we're going to need them, because currently this build is powered off that build, which is powered off that build. But it does give me an option to put in power on the outside and power up each build directly off the outside walls, should we need to power things down. This is doing, yeah, our encased industrial beams, which is short on steel beams, which is short on, well, a big enough build, basically. And then finally in here we have our motor production, which is the rotors plus stators. Again, because the rotors come from the iron level downstairs, I have lots of rotors, not a lot of stators. The other thing that I'm again, not particularly happy with these builds, and something I'd really like to change is I'd really like to, at the end of a build, before it goes to its final split and off to base, so to speak, I'd really like to put in some sort of storage container. So this can back up first, and then have a storage container worth of material before it goes to the final split to go off to wherever it happens to go to. Mainly other production lines. But yeah, as you can see, I've been using our little glass containers to run materials back down to central storage as basically as efficiently as we can. Same time, I am picking up lots of junk and just putting it in the Great Scrap Machine. So, the Great Scrap Machine, that's where this episode is actually going to be all about. What we need to do is we need to recycle the main base, all of it. I don't need that production anymore. We've automated everything the main base does, and then some. So it's time to get rid of our original little starter base. And I figured the easiest way to do that, and I have started doing it with some products, like we were bringing iron plate over here so it was local, because I was making a whole lot of whole lot of belts across the desert, which we still have a whole lot of belts across the desert. They still need to be tidied up. I was thinking I would just run it up here, join it in with the concrete line that's currently doing a loop, and run it into the Great Scrap Machine. Over there is... No, hang on. Great Scrap Machine first. Which also has a conveyor lift that goes up to nowhere with the idea of... I'd plug that in locally. So if I had stuff I didn't want, I could scrap it locally. We want organization. We want industrial storage. We want that way. I want a nice fast belt to go down. And before I trash things, let's go launch this so we have access to the hypertubes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Encased beams. I need a couple of pipes. Okay.
Milestone reached. Fixit Incorporated has processed and incorporated frequent Pioneer requests for pipe-based personal transport. Introducing Hypertubes. Safe, aesthetic, adaptable, fun. Enjoy a view of your hard work as you soar through incredibly tight turns. Build them today. Note: Fixit Incorporated is not responsible for any harm caused by irresponsible use of this product.
Transportation. Hypertubes. So they cost encased industrial beams, pipe and copper. And that's a hole, that's a support, that's a stacked tube. So it's mainly in the encased industrial beams for the entrances. Now, that brings me onto my list of things. So I want to go to the Great Fixit Crusher and print out whatever coupons we have. What's that? 300? Yeah, 300,000 points for the next coupon. They're getting more and more expensive. I want to look in here. We have 17 coupons. Go to our brand new coupon shop. We have no options, no options. I do want the quarter pipes. I do want the double ramp pack. I want the inverted ramp pack. That leaves us not a lot left over. In fact, that leaves us basically nothing left over. So, more parts bought. Yeah, absolutely nothing left over. Okay, so we have foundations. I now have access to a double ramp. Which is just really, really, hopefully, if you can get things to line up, convenient way of getting up and down places. We also have, where are we? Double ramp 8x8, which is just a much bigger version of the 4x4. Line up. Again, really, really good if you want to build a pathway up or down somewhere in a hurry. We got the inverted quarter pipe. We have the quarter pipe itself. Come on. Okay, that quarter pipe's probably not going to work terribly well. We have inner quarter pipes now, which are very good at making like a bowl shape. We have an inverted corner, an inverted inner quarter pipe. We have a outer corner quarter pipe. We have the inverted version as well. So now you can make some really funky shapes in your base. Now I really want to get a go-kart or something and see whether I can make these turns. What else do we have? We have double ramp 8x4 inverted ramp. So this is, again, comes back to your cosmetics. Stuff like the pillar supports that I've put downstairs maybe should have something like these on them, just so it sort of, you know, looks like it spreads the load of the pillar tops a little bit better. We have some other inverted corner ramps, which, no, that's inverted, so it's up the other way. And we have, again, the same thing in 8x2. So it's just mainly decorations and extra foundation pieces that we've unlocked, along with the hypertubes themselves and the jelly pad. The jelly pad's something I've actually really, really wanted, because I keep ending up building it up there and they're having to come down here for resources. So if I could just whack one of these here, just make the trip a whole lot faster. The jump pads probably wouldn't get me back up, but then again, hypertubes are probably my answer there. So yeah, this episode, now we've got some new unlocks. Next episode we'll have some of them actually in use, mainly the hypertubes. But what I want to do actually this episode is pack up all of this stuff, that stuff, that stuff. I want to look at trying to scrap the old base and mass scrap it. So I want to ship everything over here into that scrapping machine, or one of the existing ones that are over there. So that's our plan. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to upgrade a heap of belt. Okay, are you guys finished empty? Yes. So all the copper sheet that I had, I've already scrapped all of it. This is currently being fed, not being fed. We're going to track where our copper comes from. Our copper comes from these two smelters, which are hooked up to this, which are still hooked up to an active copper ore deposit. So at the moment our copper ore is coming in, we're processing it into copper sheets and then just scrapping it. So that's pretty fine. We're not storing any of it. It's just going straight into the scrappy machine. That can go away, that can go away, that can go away. That can go away, that can go away, that can go away, that can go away, and that can go away. We're going to bring this belt out and into there. Alright, next one I have is concrete. Now we had many machines making concrete. I've already got rid of a heap of them. In fact, all the machines that used to be over here are already gone. I'm now down to just the one machine that could, that's bringing in... Oh, it's all the way over there. One machine that could is bringing in sand or limestone, running out here, making concrete, and then we are storing that concrete in still a fair bit of storage containers, to be honest. Yeah, that's got material, which means there's a good chance all of these have material. Yep. So that means let's make that belt go faster. You're already running faster. So that should hopefully clear things out a little bit faster. Alright. Next we have your Okay, so you were a copper input, but we've obviously stolen your copper line, so you're completely dead. Not completely dead. Almost completely dead. Let's put down organization, storage container, put you back, run that into... that into there and get rid of the last few of them. Which you guys are outputting our copper and our copper and our cable, and we've disconnected our containers that go into storage, and they are just slowly bleeding out the billions upon billions upon billions of items they have in that storage container. As for you, you're going fairly slow, so let's see what we can upgrade around here. You're the output. That's a bit better. And you're the belt for cable. You've already been upgraded. 9. Make you a Mark 3 lift. Make you a Mark 3 lift. So that'll finish off that copper finally. Next we have this iron, which is hopefully... iron goes into this box and then disappears across the desert. Into a storage container. How full is that storage container? Full. Alright, more belt, less iron. So again, same story, just going to go up to my storage container and I'm just going to dump like whatever iron we have. Burn it off. It beats putting it in the trash. I'll get some amount of points for it. I don't want those. Now we're going to grab more steel. Take all, put 2 back, so I've got some free inventory space. So you are outputting to there, to there, to there. That should keep the iron plate moving a little bit faster along with all the concrete. Alright, so with that done and that done, we have the Caterium wire, which you have a positive amount of, which is burning all the Caterium wire. Now, Caterium wire isn't over in the new base yet. That's still on my list of things to do. That copper's done, that copper's done, all of that copper's done. Biofuel is not actually done. And I know one of you is going to complain about my not needing biofuel and I should just get rid of it. But I'm going to hold on to it just in case. Then we have our power section, I guess. All those little guys over there. Then we have our next 2 smelter arrays, which are producing iron ingots into plates, into rods, into... Really, is that it? Just 2 machines for all of that? Okay. That's probably why it's running a little bit slow. Alright, into... no, you're also doing rods and screws. Okay, all that is being produced into rotors and reinforced iron plate. Now, I did notice when I was over here, just looking around things, I actually had enough room, enough power to build 2 more assemblers doing the rocket part assemblies. Yes. So we're producing 2, 4, 6 smart plates per minute, roughly, from these 3 machines. And we're just exporting that literally onto one belt and into the Great Crusher. Because I don't have a need for smart plating currently. I've got all 500 in the machine, plus I actually have... This belt from here all the way over to there is absolutely full of these things. So that's pretty much where the little mini base ends. We are scrapping a lot of material. We're actually scrapping all the material, either locally or shipping over there to be scrapped. The plan is when I need more copper or iron, or that's really about it. I can come over here. Well, I can go down my storage container and go pick it up. Otherwise, I can go through and use some of these buildings to filter out any items they have for any reason whatsoever. You know, just stuff I've left around or who knows what. So I can, go through, deconstruct all of this, and... Power. That's the one thing I do need to keep an eye on, because as we keep more buildings up and running, our power requirements go up. Currently, they're around about 900 megawatts. We have a capacity of 1500 megawatts before we blow a fuse, and our little power base that could, our little coal plant that could, is still running. It hasn't had much decor done to it. In fact, I think I've got as far as 1 line of walls up one side of it. That's really about as far as I got. But we do have, because this particular red desert has been updated a few times, we have 2 brand new cold nodes, which were definitely not there a couple of weeks ago. Also, our giraffe in charge that was taking care of our power plant somehow got released. I'm not particularly happy about it. I like the fact that we left somebody there in charge, keeping an eye on things. So yeah, but like I said, our plan is to have this base self-scrap itself, just a little bit by a little bit, and as we pick up these nodes and take them over the new base, when we come back, this can just all be just empty and desolate and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's the plan. As you can see, just about, well, actually everything, because that's these smelters are running at full speed, making screws. After that box is full, all screws go in there. In theory, I can... In theory, I can run the excess out of that into the input for that. So we might do that before we go. This smelter goes into that resource sink over the end. Our iron here and our concrete both go on separate belts all the way over there where they merge up, go on the main base. Resource sink. This resource sink here is literally just covering it starts with C. Caterium wire. But it's not called caterium wire. It's called fast wire? Quick wire. Okay. Yes, there's that. That's pretty much it. Like, we'll still have our biofuel here and that sort of stuff. But frankly, our biofuel can just stay. It's not really that much of an issue if it stays here. We'll probably end up bringing it across eventually. But let's go fix this iron before I forget. Turns out I can't jump that far. I'm going to be back after a cut. So, one quick body recovery later, and I wanted to start working on a hypertube network, because I figured we're going to want an elaborate hypertube network. One, to get around inside the base, but 2, to also get around externally. And I figured I'd show you guys how I'm setting these up. So we're using our Hypertube supports, and I'm bringing it up as high as possible, and then using my mouse wheel to roll it forward. And same again. Then I'm using the Hypertube wall holes and putting them behind them on the glass panel, because frankly I think they look really good on the glass panels. And then we're just going to hook up a Hypertube from the rear. Now if it doesn't let you build this method, it's probably because you're setting to the wrong type of build method. I found Noodle works perfectly fine for this particular curve. And then of course we're going to need entrances on both these guys, and then we need power, which is we're going to grab a wall power socket Mark II, put one there, hook up power to each one of these guys one by one. And turns out I've still got external power wires, so we're going to get rid of those. What are you powering? You're powering that pole. That pole can now power to there. And what are you powering? That pole's powering that. Okay, so we're going to put a... Actually, these are going to end up underground if I'm not careful. So let's put a power socket there. Into that one. And into... Oh, it's that machine itself. You know what? You can have a power socket on the wall. Alright, before I go too much further, let's power up this side. So, do not remove the space elevator. Grab that power line. Power from the inside. Power that one to there. Remove that wall. Put back that window. Okay, so that's powering to there, to there. I want to come outside over here. And I want to power from that wall socket to... Oh, that's right. I want to put them up higher. Okay, that wall socket to that wall socket. Let's put you up higher as well. We'll remove that one. Who needs to power that power pole, really? Yep. Power you to you? No, I'll do that. I'll do that in a second. Okay, so that's that. Those ones fixed. Let's remove that. Middle mouse button doesn't always work on the wall. Any glass wall parts. Okay, so you need power. Power. Oh. If the clipping really bothers you of the power cables, not that it really clips that much, it looks like it's just daisy chaining along the back. Put in lots of wall sockets. That would be my answer. Or put it lower or something like that. So I need to step outside and power you to you to you. And up. Oh, yeah, they're powered now. Yeah, they're powered now. I'll be right back. So, now that we're outside, which was always the intention, if we just wall that up, like so, we should now be able to run our hypertubes. And I was really actually hoping I could put hypertubes in the floor, but it turns out they're stuck running horizontal rather than vertical. But we should be able to take our transportation, hypertubes, bring them down, and because this is going to go to the old base, actually the first one's probably going to go to power. Because it's going to go to power, I really don't care how messy this looks, because a lot of the stuff external to the base is still temporary. I want to neaten up all these belts and do all sorts of things, which are all things that maybe I'll do on a live stream. Maybe I'll just do them late one night when I can't get kids to go to sleep, so therefore I can't stream. You know, at some stage like that. Can I reach that? No, not quite. Of course not quite. We can bring that up to there. We can come across to our power plant. You have power on some of the external walls. Right? Wrong. Right. So if I grow from that wall socket, wire too long right about here somewhere. Yep. So then we're going to go power, double-sided wall socket, hook that up to that one on the ground. That's going to get to the end without a problem. Yep. Grab that. I do love these double-sided wall sockets. They just make everything just a little bit more neat. The fact that I can now run power outside the base, if I want to, like for a power plant, I'm really happy to run it inside the building, but you know, in the main base, I prefer to run it outside. Walls. Wall window. Let's just give us a couple of those right in the middle. We're going to put in logistics. No, transportation. A wall hole right, I don't know, there. Hypertube comes up, plugs into the back of that. Then we want hypertube support. And up, and then rotate that way. Bring that in the back. Give it a entrance so it's powered. And then if I hook that up, we should be, in theory, able to walk straight underneath this and get teleported, Jetson style, across the map, through some poles and other things, because they all need to be cleaned up and clipped, and dumped out at the other end with a chainsaw in my hand. Obviously, walking near any of the other ones is quite dangerous whilst they're powered. Probably shouldn't have powered them. Are you further forward than the only other ones? Yeah, you're out of place. Oh! Yeah, cut! So, like I was saying, hypertubes are extremely deadly. But we want a new hypertube. Actually, can I do a vertical pipe? Oh, that's going to look so wrong. But let's build it anyway. You'll see what I mean in a second. Yeah. That's really wrong. But, conveyor, default, vertical, noodle. Noodle for argument's sake. Alright. Yeah, I just want a quick way to get from old base to new base and vice versa. Not that we're really coming across here much anymore. But I'd still like a way to get across when I can see that there's obviously things that need to be cleaned up, packed up. Transportation. Actually, I need one of them. Like that. And I find aiming at the ground is definitely the best way. You can get some significant speed off these things. No power pole, no power pole. That all looks like rubbish to me. That looks like rubbish. That looks like more rubbish. Oh, autosave. Yeah, you can get some significant speed off these things. In fact, something we might play with this episode. I don't know. But yeah, I found if you aim them at the ground, it's perfectly fine. Because you come out, you're expelled upon on the ground, you just land quite calmly without, like, you know, launching yourself into who knows what. I do have a little bit of a danger as there is another one right beside me, which could be advantageous if I wish to go from A to B to C really quickly. But also possibly not. Maybe this needs to be revised to have a bigger gap between them. But this is our current plan, our current situation. And as for the rest of the base, I don't know. I do need to put in a hypertube network. Realistically, I'm probably going to put it in, in this area. Because once it's built, it means I no longer need this ramp. or any of the other ramps I have actually internal to the building to get layer to layer. So I could just put in a hypertube literally in this corner just to pop level to level, or maybe some along the front of the base as well. I do have... See what I mean? It just takes so long to get up and down places. The hypertubes make such a difference. I do have this empty area in here, which is full of rails and spaghetti and infrastructure, which I almost fell down that balcony. Can we put one of those, please, right there? Yep, or I'm going to end up killing myself. Yeah, I do have this blank area. This wouldn't be such a bad idea to use to get up and down levels. Okay, I need to... No, let's do... It's bothering me. Things that don't bother me in Factorio really bother me in Satisfactory. Who would have thought it? Things being unsymmetrical, off-center. That's better. That's better. So yeah, I don't know where we're going to put in the transport network. I definitely think we're going to want some down this main corridor. That's definitely going to be something just to go from one end of the factory to the other. Maybe this is also where I put the ups and downs, although I really think I want them to go external to the building. So I jump out and then come back in on the next level. But yeah, they're all decisions for later. Anyway, I think that's pretty much where I'm going to leave it. Oh, and as you can see, I have power lines that run up the exterior of the building. So that's power from the main grid up to the first level, up to the second level, it'll go up to the third level, so on and so forth. Just because I really don't want to run power inside the building, if at all possible. I'd much prefer to run things externally. I do need to run power across this section because I don't want a cable running at ground level. And obviously there was meant to be a power pole here that got forgotten. Oh, I couldn't put one in because of some of the mess we have across here. Belts wise. Actually, I just realized if we did that and ran from you to you to you, I could get rid of... Oh. Come on. That wire. I'm way happy with that. But yeah, you can also see there's an external wire up there that goes up to the next level, powers up the next level. It's just a very, very neat way of doing power, and I'm really, really happy that I did it. Oh, maybe we could go... Okay, let's try this. Let's go with transportation, hole, hypertube. Okay, let's try hypertube first. Foundation second. No. Okay. Let's try let's try foundation first. Remove neighboring foundation. Hypertube. Yeah, I just gotta get the right spot. That's an option. We could just run the hypertubes through the floor. Like, technically, apart from having a really crap hypertube, that I don't mind. Vertical. I don't mind that. Because it's a glass floor, I guess. Conveyor? Nope. Default? Nope. Vertical? Nope. Noodle? I don't think there's going to be a difference between... No, there isn't. I don't mind that. And then we could do entrance there. Power to that power socket for the moment. It's a little bit high. Doesn't matter, it picked us up anyway. This one's probably the better height. I don't mind that. Like, it'd obviously look better if I could put a wall hole in the floor. But I overall don't mind that because it looks like it's clearing a path where it goes actually through the floor. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. Maybe we're going to have some internal pipes as well to go between floors. Because that's just a really easy way to get floor to floor to floor. My other option, just bear with me for a minute. My other option is a hypertube railgun, because each time you go through an entrance, you get a little acceleration boost. And if you happen to put lots of entrances very close to one another, then, well, yeah, just a small speed boost. Like, you know, if we put a actually, we're probably going to have to go a little bit further away. Grab the actual hypertube, hook that into... Come on, give me a pipe connection that fits. Oh, there we go. An entrance on there, power on there. I'm running out of materials. But, yes, that's probably a better option, actually, going end to end. Just have a couple of railguns at either end. And that can be how we get ourselves around the base. At least going from one end to the other. Because, like, that's a really easy build to build. You know, in saying that, they do use 10 watts worth of power each. So that's like 140 watts worth of power. Yeah, about 140, 150 watts worth of power right there. And it does run all the time, even if you step away from it. So let's go all the way over here, where we're well away from it. It's still consuming that power, no matter what. So, is something to keep in mind. But, like, for the simplicity of making it from one end of the base to the other, you can't argue with it. Anyway, that's where definitely we're going to leave this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you're enjoying. Tell me down in the comments. Do you want us? Are you happy with this method to go up between levels? Oh. Okay, maybe don't walk anywhere near that thing. That's a little bit scary. But yeah, are you happy with this method to go up between levels? Because I think I am. I think I could possibly put that over here in this spaghetti mess. Put in some temporary walls to sort of hide some of my spaghetti, which might actually need to extend out another row. That's why a lot of the front of the base is not complete and finalized yet, because, well, if we remove that, I can see I still have a number of storage containers that actually go all the way into there, but I don't have any real way of accessing any storage containers beyond this one. This one actually cuts halfway through to the next foundation. So yeah, I am considering. I don't know. I'm considering what to do next. Oh, it's the wrong type of crossway organization. Just a plain crossing, please. This one already sticks out too far, and that just leaves me what I have unused on this side, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 more products, and we have a lot more than 6 products. By the same token, this is a jut out I have on this side. I could always build another jut out beside it. For the higher levels, I don't know. I do know the next thing we're going to be getting into is oil products, which are way more complicated than what we have currently. But to do that, I need to wish that I had hypertubes. That makes me go slower. I need to get the versatile framework and the automated wiring up and running. Luckily, I need 500 of one, 100 of the other. This one makes 2 for each modular frame. Modular frames are the thing that I'm actually going to be short on. In saying that, that box. that box and its bigger brother upstairs is full of modular frames, so that's not really an issue. And the other one is the automated wiring, which is stators and cable for 2.5 per minute. Stators are that one. Same story, like the bottom box is full, the top box has got 2 rows in it. Like, we could just build this stuff from storage. So actually, next episode, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be putting in our because we're now scrapping basically everything over there, we're going to feed this base full of smart plating into our scrapper machine. We're going to build a temporary permanent build down here to do our 3 space assembly buildings.